feeling a little sassy, irritated, and ready to share with you some details. First of all, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, when am I going to get back to the Duggars in reality television? When this group stops. So, yes, my Snoop shirt. I feel like I'm totally in my pajamas right now. So tonight, I want to share with you some information. You know, it's weird because the Shins have been smearing me and like acting like I'm the Antichrist and I'm the worst one and I'm so mean and I'm lying and I'm a horrible mom and I'm a bad person. But I can assure you that at no time in my life have I ever sent an email to a woman that is my mentee, who I am assigned to be their spiritual guider, and derail them and degrade them. And the emails that Hannah is sending to these women is so disgusting. If you can imagine Miranda, Kendra, Alex getting these kinds of emails daily, this is the message that they're hearing. This is what they're seeing every time they speak to a church leader. I wanted to show you this specifically because I want to show you how they scare people. This is a simple email that is sent out to members for Christmas. This was sent in 2017. And she says, as always, it is a privilege to serve with you all day until the day of our rapture. Until the day of our rapture, we are stronger together. It's not until the day of our rapture, believing that life is going to end with rapture. Not that we will, but that the world is coming to an end and that we must prepare for doomsday. This is a doomsday cult. This is from Hannah Grace Shin in 2017, until the day of our rapture. Then there is this, sent to someone who is not obeying, sent to someone who's being disobedient, rebellious. And she says, you surprise me with your evals, just so detailed. To put it simply, you need to simplify your life in words, thoughts, possessions, in every area. Of course, if you're thinking this way, then continue to report it as you think. Yet eventually, I want to see your thoughts, life simplified and under restriction. I want to see your life under restriction. So you have to report every one of your thoughts and feelings to her so that she can use it to hurt you and to shame you. Some of your detailed, sometimes complicated ways can be very useful when it comes to business and things you need to operate in this world. Yet with the things of God, it's a huge hindrance. She got these messages from her weekly. It will lead you into numerous rabbit holes and spin your mind until round and round until you're too tired to do anything else. This is not how you conserve your energy for the more important things. We will attack this year. What I need from you is your continued effort to let go and obey. Let go and obey. You don't need to understand anything. You just need to do it. Once an instruction is given, it doesn't just stop there. Sometimes there are many back and forth communications to clarify and find out how to carry out the task. If you're uncertain, you can always ask. Can we talk about how confusing that is? Let go and obey. Don't think about it, but you can ask questions. She's intentionally trying to confuse this woman to think like, okay, you have to obey, but then you can ask questions. But really, you have to obey. There will be moments I will change my mind and my instruction because of the climate changes. This could change at a moment's notice. Go left tomorrow. If I say go left tomorrow and I say go right, then you go right. I don't understand why you would waste your time thinking about what I said yesterday, about what I said today. What's the issue here? This is not complicated. You are making it complicated. Narrow down your thought patterns. They are all over the place. You must build a proper frame in your mind and then operate within those boundaries. You are not allowed to cross boundaries that that you are not authorized. You are not allowed to cross boundaries that you are not authorized. This is not your place to judge anyone. First of all, you are not God, but Robert is. So first of all, let me just say here, Hannah, you are a 43-year-old woman who has no business telling anyone how to live their lives. Another is this: don't question your authority. Whatever they say goes. These kinds of boundaries must be reinforced and dealt with if disobeyed. Yes, we are soldiers, elite ones at that. So if you don't listen to me, you will be punished. This is how we battle and how we prepare. This is who we are. Now we make changes every chance we get because there's a lot of work to be done. This is aggressive. This is intimidating. This is manipulative. This is gaslighting. This is abuse. In no place in the Bible does it say that you are supposed to listen to Hannah Grace Shin. Now imagine you are a 25-year-old girl. You grew up in Michigan. Your parents gave you a really sweet life where they supported you and gave you everything that you needed and supported everything that you did. You never rebelled. You never had a moment where you were naughty or got in trouble or dated the wrong boy or had your random freak out moment like a teen. You were a good girl. And all you wanted to do was please people. And then you fucking meet Hannah Shin. And she tells you to just fucking obey her. Don't ask questions or face the consequences. Who the fuck are you, Hannah, to tell anyone? What gives you the fucking right to tell anybody to obey you? What have you done in your life that qualifies you to tell a grown woman that if they don't obey you, they will face consequences? If any of you are questioning what the hell these girls are going through, this is what they're facing every fucking day. This is what they're fucking facing. This bullshit. This is trafficking. This is coercion. This is manipulation. This is someone who was in your church for fucking years, Hannah, and you went off on her like this. And then you tell them in other emails, it's such a pleasure to serve with you until the day of our rapture. To not make them forget that soon their day is coming and the end times are here. So you scare your members with the fear of fucking burning in hell, and then you tell them if they don't obey you, then what? What gives you the right? What gives you the right? Who the fuck are you? You're no one. You are no one. You are a woman that has forged signatures on checks. You are a woman that has coerced people to allow you to go into their bank accounts and pay and take money out of their bank accounts. You are not helping these people. And if you think for 1 second that it is not lost on me that this is not you writing this, you have another fucking thing coming. So you allow them to rest and are free to nap and socialize and create content. Do you know what creating content actually is for a social media influencer? Creating content is a full-time job. I create content. I put out content every single day. It's work. Creating content is not leisure. Dancing under lights with film, someone filming you and having your hair done and professional makeup on, that is not leisure, that is work. And then you're saying that they're not working for you while you're then uploading those videos onto your algorithm, and you're cheating the algorithm, because not only are you cheating the algorithm by cross-posting them on multiple pages, which is illegal. You're uploading videos across multiple YouTube channels, which is a violation of YouTube. It's also not allowed on Instagram. And Isaiah's account cross posts everything that's already put out there. But on top of that, you're creating fake accounts to bump up the algorithm. So when Chloe wasn't taking off, you literally emailed your members and told them to create as many fake accounts as possible and comment and leave as many comments as possible. Keep your identity a secret. You're faking everything. All of this is fake. You're creating fake accounts. Do you think your tactics of scaring your members with your legal, going after my parenting, shaming me because I had sex before marriage, shaming me because I'm bisexual, going after my son, do you think any of that fucking scares me, Hannah? No, because to me, Hannah, you're a no one. You don't scare me. I have members that I speak to, former members, every day. That's where this is coming from. We have emails times 100, times 1,000. We have everything. You are found out. Emails, audio, video, photographs, titles, real estate transactions, everything. We know about the double dipping and the illegal stuff you're doing in real estate, where you're doing escrow accounts when you're not supposed to. In the state of California, it's not legal for the agent to also hold escrow and do mortgage, and yet you're doing all three and hiding behind fake alter egos when you're doing it. Your former workers know what you're doing, and they're ready to expose every last bit of it. They know about you going into their bank accounts and taking money to buy your luxury cars. They know about Robert and his. Multiple of them have told me about a young woman having to escape in the middle of a night because Robert wouldn't let her leave because she allegedly turned down his advances. She wouldn't have with him, so he put her on restrictions and told her she couldn't go anywhere, took her car, took her phone, took everything, and she had to escape in the middle of the night because she felt like you guys were going to kill her. That's in court records, Hannah. How are you going to deny that? Are you going to deny that woman's testimony? Who's Rojo? You wanted my receipts. They're giving me the receipts because they're mad. You pissed off so many people. I'm just the one that's reporting it. I'm just the one reporting it. You're the one that hurt these people. They have all of the evidence to prove what you've done to them. They know that you haven't changed, and they know what you're doing today. Why have they waited so long to bring this out? You're going to victim shame women you're going to victim shame them for not speaking out sooner. I have listened to these women cry, bawl their eyes out, because they didn't believe that they could do anything at all. They didn't think anyone would believe them. They didn't think anyone would trust a word they said. You took people who were vulnerable, who had troubled backgrounds. You took kids who came from homes, who wanted security and wanted a place for a family, and you just stomped all over them. You screamed at them, you yelled at them, you demanded that they work for you, you took their money from their bank accounts. You exploited people with autism, with mental health issues. When people were having mental illness breakdowns, I was told by multiple sources that you guys would just lock them in rooms and let them scream. You don't allow them to go to the doctor. What about the woman that almost died when she was pregnant because you wouldn't allow her to go to the doctor? What about the woman who was vomiting so severely that she saved her life by going to the doctor and getting on an IV and antibiotics? But under the advice of the church, she would have. What about the husband What about Catherine's husband who committed suicide? Catherine's husband wanted her out. He wanted the kids out. He didn't want them in Shekinah. He was so depressed. All he wanted was his family back, but they were so sucked in, and he got so depressed that he ended his life. What about Thomas? Gigi, I blocked you. This is a receipt. All the court records are receipts. All of it. These are B-Dash's own words saying that they control his bookings and finances. Those are B-Dash's words. Jojo, we're working on it. We're doing everything we can to get the police involved, to get the FBI involved, to get someone in the authority world to take this seriously. This is a judge. Shekinah Church required virtually absolute obedience, and I also think the evidence showed that the Shekinah Church required most of the members to give up their free will. Thank you, Jojo. I love you, Jojo. I love your Instagram gives me life. If you aren't following Jojo Gomez, she is the antithesis of everything that's not Shekinah Church. She's like exudes positivity and body, like she's body positive. She's not shaming women to be stick thin. She owns who she is. This is not a religious nonprofit organization. It's not, but a secular for-profit company who have faith in God. It is their job to manage, control our bookings or schedules. Control. Everyone who knows B-Dash and knows James knows that he didn't write this, Hannah. We know it's you or Shirley that drafted this and Robert signed off on it. Everyone that knows you guys knows that this is not from B-Dash. All of B-Dash's friends know that he did not write this. Everyone knows that these dancers are being lied to, threatened, intimidated. B-Dash is James. They aren't, there's no like cult division. I'm sorry. The problem with the lawsuit with Lydia was exactly that. They said that there was coercion. They said there was manipulation. They said that Robert was behaving inappropriately. They said that the way that he treated members was not appropriate, but they didn't want to get in the middle of it because if they dictated what someone donated to the church, then every church member out there could sue their church saying they didn't want to tithe and they were coerced. Except in the case of Lydia, she was coerced, she was manipulated, the judge said that what they did to Lydia was horrible. They found Lydia more credible than Robert. I am working with a team. We are working to get this out to the wider public. It's going to take time. Promise you it's coming. I just can't tell you about it yet. The reason why I'm not giving up on this is because of that. I have an entire team behind me. We want justice for Lydia. We want justice for all of the victims. We want justice for the women that Lydia's own attorney pointed out in court that if he was a business owner and his employees, he would have been held responsible. If Mr. Shin, his employees, like he harassed the female members of church, he would be held liable under the state laws of California. Just because it's a religious corporation and not just a regular corporation, the law is not really any different. You can't take that conduct and hide it behind the First Amendment. We're in a different time than 2009 and 10 when Lydia went to court. We're post Me Too. The courts are a lot more sympathetic to victims of. Robert, I haven't even brought up your immigration fraud. What about all the green cards and the green card marriages? And then using those marriages, forcing people into these marriages, and then using that over their heads to intimidate them so they don't turn you into the police. What about your daughter's green card marriage? What about the forced marriages? Using people who are vulnerable, who are immigrants, and then using that over their head? No. Chloe needed a green card. You wanted Chloe to be the next big thing, and it didn't work. You wanted Daniel to be the next thing. It didn't work. Now it's Isaiah. Do Chloe and Daniel need to be reported to immigration for falsifying their marriage records? It's also a crime to orchestrate these types of marriages, Robert. I truly don't feel like the people that were forced into these situations should be penalized. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think the person that got the green card or even the person that was forced to marry them should be held responsible. I feel like the person that's forcing it should be the one that's held responsible. And why is it on the day that you knew Kelly and Dean were going to be in town, did you suddenly and abruptly send Miranda and James off on like some event? We know you create fake accounts. We have proof. We have hundreds of emails. We have videos. We have audio. You're not going to sue anyone. If you sue me, everything comes out. And that's not a threat. That's just literally the truth. And you don't want that. because the people that I'm talking to aren't lying. The court records aren't lying. And this isn't North Korea. I've been struggling with this part of it so hard, you guys, and I just want to be honest. The victims I speak to are Korean, and some of them are immigrants. And for a lot of them, it reminds them of home and how North Korea treats their people. And they've said that it's like he's emulating Kim Jong-un. He's taken what Kim Jong-un does and he's applied it to this. And I'm not going back to that. You have people that have come from really difficult backgrounds and know the oppressiveness of Korea. And you're like replicating that here for them through the same fear tactics. And you know that they're scared of that. You know that these immigrants from Korea are scared of that. That's like, I've learned a lot about Korea in the last few weeks. I'll say that. These people are strong. Tell everyone how you bought your Bentley, Robert. Show everyone where you got the money for your Bentley. Oh, wait. We know where it came from. I don't know why Shirley, as a lawyer, you would want to be involved in this. You're going to lose your license. You're going to get barred for this. Why you would risk your livelihood and your life and your profession for this man makes me so confused. She didn't lose and didn't show up at court. Who are you? April. Okay, Hannah. Why'd you send this? Why'd you send this in 2017? This was not a decade ago. This was 5 years ago. This was December of 2019, the day of our rapture. You know what's really sad for Lydia? All of the evidence was against Catherine. And you know what Catherine did in the middle of the lawsuit, like a coward? She filed for bankruptcy because she knew if she filed for bankruptcy, the lawsuit would go nowhere. All the evidence was so overwhelming against Catherine. Even the judge said that. But because she was no longer a defendant, because of the bankruptcy, there was nothing the court could do. She could testify, but they couldn't make a judgment because she wasn't the defendant. So you make her file for bankruptcy right before it goes to trial. The judge said there was a preponderance of evidence against Catherine. It was damning. They did win the lawsuit. It was on a technicality. Catherine was out because of the bankruptcy and First Amendment. The judge did not want to intervene on church affairs. Catherine Yee, his sister. I knew the day I met you, women in tuition, baby doll, you were all washed up. It is stupid how bankruptcy will stop a trial. Let me see if I can find it. Miss Yee, I thought she made a good appearance, but the weight of the evidence certainly was against her. And although there was some slight inconsistency with documentary evidence, which she testified to, I think the majority of the reason why the court would not necessarily believe her is the great weight of the evidence against her. That was a judge talking about Catherine Yee and why there was so much evidence against her. You know what's weird is though, like 4 church members have filed for bankruptcy. It's like he gets everyone else to do is like be his fall guy. The trial was in 2011 and then the tax claim was in 2012. Michelle is probably like Hannah. So, are you really a successful businessman? In 2011, when Catherine filed for bankruptcy, you guys closed 4 of your businesses. You lost all of your money. You lost your cars, your assets. You didn't even have money to pay for the attorneys. You sent emails to members and asked them to pay for your lawyer's fees when she sued you. That's how broke you were. He gave up his degree, his doctor's. When you can be a grifter and con people for money, would you rather be a good person? He doesn't let people go to the doctor. He believes he can heal them. So if any of these dancers have any sort of mental health issues or any medications that they need to sustain their lives, I would be afraid for them if I were their parent. Oh, he's drinking non-alcoholic wine.
Grape juice.
It's grape juice, basically. He doesn't drink. He just drinks like non-alcoholic wine. No, his medical license wasn't revoked. He's not going to be able to get relicensed. So in the state of California, he surrendered his license voluntarily. And after 5 years, you can't reapply. he would have to do a lot of work. He has not been licensed for over 20 years. He has not had an active license since 1994. He's not practiced medicine since 1994. He doesn't believe in medicine. Would you want to go to a medical doctor that thinks like he can cure you of everything through prayer and healing? No, his degree can't be revoked. They can't revoke a degree. He finished school. So you can't call yourself a doctor. It's different. Like, he finished medical school. I already explained this in another live. He finished medical school. Yes. But he cannot legally call himself a doctor and hold himself out as a medical doctor because he's not. It's false advertising, and it puts like a false sense of security in someone. So there's laws in the state of California. It's like impersonating a police officer. Yes, he finished medical school. Yes, he has his MD, but he doesn't have a license to practice medicine anymore. He can't practice. He can't practice. He can't give medical advice. If he gives medical advice under the guise that he's a doctor, he's breaking the law. So if he is telling people to trust him because he's a doctor and that he gives medical advice to the members because he's a doctor, he's actually breaking the law. You can't do that. He could be sued, yes. But then he prevents people from going to get their own education. Doesn't let them watch TV. Doesn't let them go on the internet. They don't get to listen to music. They don't get to listen, they don't get to have a TV. Someone said, Slavic doesn't have a TV on his wall because they can't watch TV. He tells them that they shouldn't watch TV because it has bad influences. He doesn't want them to have access to any outside influences. He doesn't want them to hear the truth about anything. So if you're wondering if they're seeing this, probably not. Will they ever see this? No. They'll hear about it from him. He'll lie about it.
What are you doing?
But they don't get to watch TV. What they read is highly monitored. He does. He says TV is secular. He says the news is secular. He's a huge conspiracy theorist.
Come on.
No, their phones are monitored. Their social media is monitored. Their emails are monitored. I mean, one of the members flat out told me that they hacked into her email and sent emails like her to people that she loved that were rude. And he doesn't want to have a lot of members because he can't control them, because really what he's doing is human trafficking. But he says he's not trafficking. Anytime you're coercing someone under the guise of power and influence and taking away their rights and free will, that's kind of what human trafficking is. Maybe you're from, I don't know, I think some of them are actually from North Korea. Someone said one of them is, I don't know if it's Hannah or is him, but they are using tactics that are from North Korea. And that's coming directly from Korean immigrants. Slavic and the money he raised, they said, is probably not going to Ukraine. Don't expect $1 of that to go to Ukraine. They said they think that has Robert all over it. Why is Miranda denying this? Because if she doesn't deny it, she'll probably get reamed out by Hannah, and she doesn't know she's in a cult. She's been given a script. Have you not watched her videos? She's literally reading from a script. She has a notebook she reads from. Where is it? And then every time I post something, they delete something. I mean, if you're not trying to hide anything, why are you deleting everything? Oh, I can't find it. None of them are going to know anything because they don't tell them anything. They don't get open lines of communication with their families. What you and I think is normal is not normal for them. What is up is down for them. What's left is right. They don't know anything. They're in an alternative universe. They don't have a PR person. They don't. Their PR person is Hannah or Shirley or Chloe. They're also extremely cheap and they don't want to spend money on things. The story is everywhere. I don't know. It's everywhere. It's on Daily Mail TV. It's on Rolling Stone. It's on The Sun. It's on every outlet has covered this. It's everywhere. I don't like that they're using Kendra and Tight Eyes as people of color to look and act stereotypically like all the horrible stereotypes of Black people. They're making them act out. And then they're also using them as the butt of jokes, which I think is deplorable. And then acting like they did a skit yesterday where they were they have Aubrey acting like he's a thief. They aren't able to travel like by themselves. Miranda is never allowed to be alone, ever. She is monitored constantly. She has never spoken to her family without James there. All of the communication is initiated by James. I mean, that's what they told you in the live stream. They weren't lying. James is her minder. Someone sent me a message and said that I need to be sensitive to James because James is a victim and I don't have a right to defend his son. And I say, fuck that. I have the son's mom. I have Jaden's mom, who I talk to all the time, telling me that Jaden misses his dad, that James is a deadbeat dad, that James gave up everything to go and join another cult. You can be empathetic to him, but I'm not going to excuse a man from abandoning a child just because he's a victim of a cult. I'm sorry. You're a grown-ass adult. His son is 10 years old. I have a 9-year-old. I would never put myself in a situation like that. I would never put myself in a situation again where I'm again following a man who has a history of abandonment, just like his previous leader. And it's not nuanced because he's black. It's literally just the facts. It's not racist for Angie, Jaden's mom, to stand up for her son and say, my son deserves better than this. Jaden doesn't have a father, and while James is driving around in a Tesla, I think he's getting $500 a month in child support. So Robert said that they're paying more to the IRS than I make, which I think is hilarious because how does he know it's in my bank account? But you're making all that money and James can drive a Tesla and your child's getting $500 a month. You're stealing from Jaden. If you can afford a Tesla, which is like a $90,000 car, right? And Jaden gets $500 a month from you, Jaden deserves better than that. It doesn't matter if the Tesla was gifted to him. If the Tesla was gifted to him, it came from that money. You're missing the point. If it was gifted to him by the church, it doesn't matter. It was gifted to him, a gift is still taxable. You have a car, James. Why aren't you going to see your son? You can drive to see your son, but you don't. You're missing out on Jaden's basketball games. You're missing out on all of his, like, everything he does at school, all of his events, all of his recitals, all of his conferences. You wanted to be better than what you had, and yet you promised Angie that you weren't going to let Jaden down, and that's what you've done. And you're following a man who abandoned his kids. The money that you paid for your Tesla should have gone to your son. While you're gallivanting around and drinking your shitty ass coffee and making your stupid videos, you are so lucky that Angela is a smart ass woman and a good mother, and that you are so lucky that Jaden has a stepfather that cares about him, and that Jaden's stepfather has stepped into his life in a way that you never would. And if you're Miranda, heart to heart, woman to woman, if he did it to Angela, he's gonna do it to you. You're 9 years difference in age. He's 30, what? James went after you for a reason, Miranda, and it wasn't because you were pretty. It's because no woman his age would put up with his shit. And what about you, Kendra? Why are you pretending to be married to a man who is already married to his first wife? Why are you pretending to be married to a man who abandoned his 4-year-old son? Why are you pretending to have a blissful relationship with a man who cheated relentlessly on his first wife, on his second wife, and I'm sure as hell confident he's gonna cheat on you?
No.
These men are victims, but they sought this group out for a reason. They wanted money. Miranda has zero chemistry with B-Dash. Miranda has more chemistry with Slavic. The real couple, if I'm being honest, should be Slavic and Miranda. Those two actually look like they like each other. Who said I'm making this about race? Don't cheat on your wife. Don't abandon your kids. There's James's wife right there. Hi, Angela, ex-wife. There's Jaden's mom is in here. Jaden's mom is here. Jaden's not white. I don't know. I'm not going to share a photo of Jaden, but Jaden is definitely not white. He looks just like James. He literally he's like a mini James. He has like super curly hair. Yeah, he's Hispanic and black. So he's got like thick brown curly hair. Why would it matter if she was with Slavic or James? The point is, she's with a man that she's not in love with, and James and Miranda's marriage was more than likely forced, because that's what he does. He does. He looks just like James. And Jaden is so lucky to have you, Angela. And he's very lucky to have your fiance. Like, if Angela was being smart, she would, like, literally sue for child support right now, which would open up all of the books, Robert. Wouldn't that be like the worst thing if like a child support case brought the whole cult down? Could you imagine if she sued for child support? They would audit all of his finances and they would see exactly how you're paying bills. You're stealing from children the way that you're doing this. Jaden calls him dad. And you have, does your fiance have 2 little girls? Yeah. That's an awesome idea, right? Do an audit of bank accounts for child support. He will file for bankruptcy. Well, that's the opposite of prosperity that Robert teaches. They don't take it lightly. So you have B-Dash, who's a victim, but he's also a father who abandoned his son, and he has a car, and he's like, I mean, you guys, come on. Imagine you're 10, it's your birthday, it's August 21st, and all you want is your dad to call you. Literally, the only thing that you want for your birthday is your dad to call you. And you think it would be so cool if your dad would like send you a message online, post something to you. And then you go check your dad's social media thinking maybe my dad sent me a message. And instead your dad posted his engagement video to a woman you barely know. And you had no clue that he was planning to get married to this woman. He didn't tell you. He didn't wish you a happy birthday. He posted the engagement video on your 10th birthday. That's like a memory that will never be forgotten. And then you talk to your dad and he just acts like it's no big deal. Like it's not a thing. And you ask him if he's married and he said he's been married for a while. And then your son sees this in the news right now and he sees all the attention you're getting and he sees you going to the Super Bowl and he sees you like in commercials and he has a breakdown with his mom and he says, I wish my dad cared more about me than he cared about money and fame. So your 10-year-old watching you from the background just wants his dad and all you want is money. And you know what the Bible says? Money is the root of all evil. You're really going to shame Shannon? Well, the 10-year-old shouldn't be on social media. And if he's such a bad person, why would you want him in your son's life? Oh, Shannon, goodbye. If the only way that you get to see your dad is by going online, what are you going to do? Even every child wants their parents. Angela says, I let him on social media because he wanted to keep up with his dad's videos. It's very monitored. Exactly, Angela. Thank you. If the only way that your child gets to see their dad is through social media, so let's not victim shame here. Alexandra was a dancer for Janet Jackson. I actually took some screenshots and I actually took some videos and I feel really sad that her life has come to this because she didn't need 7M. She is so talented. Here she is with Janet. There she is, right there, down. That's her. That's her in a Janet Jackson video. This is a woman that didn't need 7M. And you know what makes me really sad is this is her new video right now with Miranda. And it's so irritating to me because it's like she was in a Janet video and now she's dancing to a Janet song, sitting in a chair directed by Isaiah Shin. Like, you literally were on tour with Janet for years.